This summer solstice brings the launch of Synchronicity University. So excited about finally presenting you guys with a free, online, fully accessible data bank of astrology classes. You can watch lessons right now at synchronicityuniversity.com and of course my YouTube channel, nadiyashah.com. Hello, fabulous Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of July 2015, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month starts with a full moon, ends with a full moon, and your ruling planet Venus will go retro this month. So to me, as I look at this month, it marks an important emotional change and emotional truth for a lot of us, a turning point and a real desire to connect with other people coming very much to the surface. For you, this first full month is going to indicate a time when you're thinking about your place in the world in some significant way. You're thinking about how much you know and how much you still have to share. You're thinking about what it is that needs to be put into place so that you can manifest some bigger goals further down the road. For some of you, early in the month, it's going to be a real focus on education, higher education at that. So you should be hearing news. You should be experiencing changes as well that really steer you in a whole other direction. So given that Neptune is very harmonious to this full moon, and this full moon is happening quite close to Pluto as well, it does suggest to me that there is a little bit of a dream come true, miracles can happen type of energy, but it very quickly gives way to a truth really hitting home and having to be brutally honest with yourself and then deciding what's worth focusing on. So I'm just going to put this out there. This could be a situation like you get into that program that you really wanted to get into, but you didn't get your funding, because that's like the truth really hitting home. And then that leads to a decision. Okay, what is it that you need to do right now so that you can actually get to that school that you want to get to? It is possible. As I said, there's a very dreamy, idealistic, miracles are possible kind of quality happening with this. And at the same time, there's a real understanding of what is at the essence, what is essential, where it is you need to buckle down to make the most of this time. For some of you, this is going to play out in matters of immigration or citizenship. I do think as I look at this, this could be getting some really good news coming in, but they want to see some documents and you have to figure out how you're going to get these documents. That type of situation might actually come about. And so there's, again, a real good news happening, happiness, and then, whoa, we got to zone in here. We got to focus. Nothing else matters. I have got to find a way to make the most of these positive developments. Some of you may also experience this in regards to a legal matter as well. And if that's the case, it does look like the possibility of a good outcome is there, and followed by you resolving that, okay, you're going to bring this to a close now. So there might be an element there for you where you get to make that choice. But at the end of the day, this is Pluto, and Pluto doesn't leave you with much choice. So it could be that an area where you've really been focused on, where you've really had a hope, if you will, it seems like some good news may be there, and it might be. It is Neptune. Neptune's not always so solid. However, very quickly things come, it becomes a very final decision regardless of what you feel about it. And I do think that things can happen so fast around a legal issue that it leaves you going, what just happened? Is that really over? Is that actually going to be the outcome after all this time? So some Taurians out there are going to have that type of feeling. But for all that, I do think that the promise of closure and the promise of finally being able to put a matter behind you is where most of the relief is going to come as well. As we move into the month, in the middle of the month, there is a new moon happening. This new moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. And these people are going to be wanting your attention. I mean, unless you really live right in the middle of nowhere and don't have any connections at all to anybody, some of these people are going to find you. And in some cases, they are not going to let themselves be unknown, meaning that you could find yourself with new neighbors that are very social. I'm going to be honest with you, in ways that maybe are not so much in alignment with your ways. But it does look like these are going to be people who are asking for your attention, asking for your time, might surprise you, might need you in ways that don't always feel very comfortable, okay? So this could be, you know, I'm just going to put this out there, a sibling or a cousin reaching out to you, and you know that this is something that they can handle on themselves, or you know that this is something that they've been going through again and again, and they're reaching out to you, and you can see it's a little bit transparent. A part of you might not actually want to be there for whatever reason, and there might be very good reasons at that, but you're going to have to decide how you're going to navigate that. At the end of the day, I always think that you do what it is that will allow you to feel that you respected yourself, and that allows you to feel like you did what you needed to do. So sometimes that is pulling back, and sometimes that is giving more. You are going to decide, as long as you stay true to yourself, you're going to decide the best way forward, and it will end up being the best for all concerned. But yes, they will need your time. And you can choose to utilize that to help to create those connections, but it looks like it comes a little bit out of surprise, and then you're going to have to figure out how now you're going to move forward from there. End of month, another full moon. This full moon is happening at the very top of your sky. The decisions, the occurrences, the developments that happen at the very beginning of the month will begin to be realized. Their impact on your life will begin to be realized by the time we're finishing the month and starting the next. So this is going to be about you seeing how you garnering your credential now gets you a certain career goal. This can be how now you see how you can move your life in a different direction because of the matters you allowed to end earlier in the month. This is good for career. This is good for getting a promotion. This is good for interviews as well. As with this particular, what's really interesting to me about this particular full moon is that it is indicating a time when there's going to be the motivation there, yes. There's also going to be some conversations that may not necessarily feel very comfortable, I'll be honest with you. Mercury standing across this particular full moon, so it looks like you're trying to talk things out, you're trying to reason things out, but Venus is retro by this point. Venus is retro, so emotions might be coming up a little bit very close to the surface, and it may not be so clear. You might think on one hand, oh, it should be really clear. I do understand which way I'm going. I do understand what job I want. I do understand the boss I want. I do understand how I'm being asked to better prepare for greater advancement further down the road. While there might be that, at the same time, you can tell that there's a little bit of an undercurrent taking place here, almost like things that aren't being said, or things are, you know that things are actually a lot further than what people are presenting you with, meaning that somebody might be saying to you, you know, if you do this, you could be the head of the company. But you know that, yeah, if you do that, you could be head of the company, but there are 100 other things that need to happen before you get there as well. So these are the types of things. It's almost like someone's presenting you and talking to you and encouraging you, but you can see that actually what it is that is on offer is there's a bit of a disconnect where they're offering you something, but you know it's actually at a distance. It's not something that is immediately available. So some Taurians might find that to be the case. So just be mindful and be honest with yourself. Make sure you're not just hearing what you want to hear, but that you're actually being honest with yourself as to where you are right now, what it is that you desire to achieve, and more importantly, what needs to happen to get you there. It might not be A to B. It might be you can get anywhere you want to get, but there might be a few more steps involved. And they might not be so clear to you directly, but you know in your heart if that's the case, and you also know if that's a path that you want to commit to. If you do make that commitment, of course you can accomplish just about anything that you choose. What I love about this month for you is the promise of movement, the promise of you knowing that you are part of a bigger picture, knowing that you can materialize a vision, and knowing that there are people around you to whom you can actually talk. That is going to be a big strength for you this month. Talking things out, a big strength for you now. If you can, have people around, talk to them as you're moving along this month, and you'll find yourself making sense of different developments, and from there, making choices that you truly are at peace with.